What's going on, good people? Rich here, co-host of Another Week in the Books. Shout out to the legend Spike Lou, the one and only. If you notice, he is not going to be with me this episode. This is me going at it dolo. I have no idea how this is going to go. I have no idea how long it's going to last. Just kind of shooting from the hip and figuring this out. I'm traveling this week, and our normal recording day wasn't going to work for me, and we wanted to make sure we didn't go 2 weeks in a row without giving you some kind of content or something on your feed for Friday. So Spike Lou and myself were discussing things earlier. I was like, you know what? I think I can have some time to just throw something dolo. Have no idea, like I said, what I'm going to talk about, but we'll figure it out in real time. So I appreciate y'all for just bearing with me in that sense. I've been seriously recording since about late summer, early fall 2022. So about 3.5 years, it'll be 4 years this fall. And I've only done one other solo episode that was Soul Men on the Culture Garden. It was about 55 minutes. It was just me. But I did have the movie as a compass. Like it kind of led me in what I wanted to discuss and talk about. And this one's a little bit different. Y'all know the nature of this podcast. It's a lot more of an open book, and I'm gonna kind of treat it like that, you know. So shout out to Mo. I know Mo does the memos, and we're gonna have Mo on soon to kind of talk about the origin of it and his thought process and what inspired him to want to do that. I believe he's more so looking at that as something that he wants to discuss, or maybe a certain topic that he wants to break down in a 12-minute, 17-minute, every 2 weeks type of conversation. Where this one, like I said, I'm just shooting from the hip. It's going to be more of an open book. Speaking of Mo, happy birthday to the brother. As I'm recording this on April 21st, it is Mo's birthday. Make sure y'all show him some love, man. A lot of love and a lot of respect for Mo. A lot of the things that I'm a part of wouldn't happen if it wasn't for Mo, or it wasn't for Mo, you know, kind of extending his hand out and us building a rapport on social media. And it led to us having a working relationship and, of course, a brotherhood past that. Introduced me to Spike Lou and the whole nine. So Mo's just a genuine good dude, man. As somebody who's had, you know, phone conversation with Mo and talked to Mo about life outside of recording. I always enjoy our conversations and our talks, and it's always good to have somebody like that on your side and have them on your team, who always looking out, doing the dirty work, doesn't really care, man, about, you know, like Nip said, man, ain't really trip on the credit. I just paid all of my dues. Like he's selfless when it comes to that. So I always want to make sure I give Mo his flowers, because even this space, I feel that he built this, you know, and obviously Spike Lou was here, but and Spike built it as well. But Mo kind of led the way for him, myself, and probably a lot of other brothers on how to really just kind of be your true self and open up and be vulnerable and just see what happens, man. And I always respect him for that. So much love to the good brother Mo. Make sure y'all wish him a happy birthday as he's celebrating. And yeah, we're at book 2, chapter 61. Solo Rich. That's what we're gonna call this one. Solo Rich. And we're gonna, like I said, we're gonna see what happens. As always, thank you for tuning in. Please remember to like, subscribe, share. I am gonna read some comments from chapter 60 when we had T on. Shout out to T. Also, if you follow us on Instagram at Another Week in the Books, check out the link in the bio. Knowledge Yourself. Shout out to Big Jeff. Got the merch on right now. I don't know how well y'all might be able to see it on YouTube. You can kind of see the bookworm with the book. But also check the sleeves. Like you got the KOS on this side, AWITB patch on this side. I'm not gonna hold y'all, man. I'm not saying this just because I'm wearing it, and I know that's what every nigga says. I'm not saying this just because, but seriously, I was genuinely surprised by the quality of the shirt when it came in. I wasn't expecting it, and I know I said this before. This is my first piece of merch for anything that I've been a part of, so I hold it near and dear to my heart. I'm gonna order another shirt just to kind of have as a keepsake. You know, a lot more merch to come, but this being the first, it definitely means something. I'm gonna order a crew neck. just to get it already prepared for the fall and for the winter. So please make sure y'all go and support. Hit that link in the bio. Check it out. Keep sending us those photos. We've been getting them coming in. I'm going to be posting them like every other day. Bookworms in the wild. Okay. Hashtag bookworms in the wild. Tag us on Instagram, and we'll make sure you post us on. We post you on the page. And once again, thank you for the love. I can't. I don't know, man. We'll talk a little bit about this, because it's been on my mind. But some of the things that you just don't dream of, or I don't want to say you don't think it's possible, but you never thought it could be possible until you saw it, and that's being a part of something. It's much bigger than me, and I'm sure Spike Lee would tell you was much bigger than him as well. But just being a part of this community and just people really um, resonating with the things that we discuss and the approach that we're taking to try to build this. It means the world, and I don't say that lightly. Also, make sure you hit us up. Phone number 470-318-5034. Hit up Spike Lou, man, especially if you just want to chop it up. Send a text message, leave a voicemail if you don't answer. Let's get that number active. Let's get that number active, man. We definitely appreciate y'all for that. And also, as I mentioned, I'm going to go ahead and read some comments from the last couple episodes. One comment from Golden Child 1123. We appreciate you as always. Thank you. Her comment reads, Rich, and this is in reference to chapter 60 with T. She writes, Rich, it kind of sounds like you're saying if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. That is in reference to the conversation we had about Memphis and my stance on not wanting to bash black cities without having any kind of solution. One thing I love about this podcast is it I really think about it once we finish. Not every week, but every now and then there's some conversations that I always want to make sure that I came across the right way or nothing came misconstrued or that I was as genuine as possible. And I'm also open, and this is just me in life. I always tell myself or tell others too, man, I'm always open to being wrong. I never try to walk into any situation thinking that I can't learn from it or thinking that I couldn't be wrong, leaving that situation. And I don't think that I'm wrong about this one. However, I do want to make sure that I'm clear. And I had no issue with what Spike Lou and T were saying in regard to their thoughts on Memphis. It was just a matter of methods. Like I wouldn't necessarily say that without um, trying to have some kind of solution, but also in the very same breath, it's not Spike Lou, T, or anybody else's problem to solve, and I do think a big factor in that, especially after having the convo, is the Tennessee part of it all. I just think there's a different relationship that they have being from Nashville and being closer to Memphis and kind of having more of an idea of what's going on down there versus me being in Ohio and not. I've only been in Memphis once, and we, Spike Lou and myself, we heard from Dave in the group chat. We'll have Dave on, or we'll announce that we'll start having Dave on a little bit more regularly, at least once a month. And we're going to retouch on this topic, briefly when we have him on. But he had a lot of things to say. I don't want to step on it. I'll wait till he comes on and we can discuss it. But one of the things he said, man, you got to do for yourself before you ask others to do for you. And so, like I said, there's a lot of other things that I'm probably not familiar with that go on with that. Um, I still stand by. I probably just won't say anything at all. Versus calling places a certain shithole or whatever the case may be. But I get it. I understand it. I understand why it's being said, and I understand the disappointment that can be had when you do have leadership who doesn't care about a black city. So why am I caring more about the people who are actually elected to run it or chosen to run it? It's a very nuanced and interesting conversation to have. So I say all that to say, yes, don't if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. But I don't want that to be taken as we can't criticize black product or black people or black places or black things for the sake of being black. Like I don't believe in that at all. I think the only way we get better is when we're told that we're lacking in a certain area. Is there a certain way to go about that? Absolutely. But we shouldn't shy away from it, and we shouldn't stop those conversations. And then when you learn more about the story, it kind of is what it is. So that's my thoughts on that. And I'm sure, like I said, when Dave comes on, we'll talk about it further. But thank you for the comment. We have Dejor Falk, who wrote, I'm going to my friend's wedding in Brooklyn this weekend. And every time I come here, I say to myself, I got to move here. Has there ever been a place like that for you all? It's a great question. We'll ask this again. I'm not going to shortchange you, Dejor. Shout out to you. Hopefully the wedding went well. I'm not going to shortchange you. I'll make sure Spike Lou answers this question as well. Dallas for sure. Let me back up. Los Angeles was the first time I ever felt like that. I went to Los Angeles, and the very first time I went, it felt like home. And it's weird. I've kind of growing up, I always got two different answers. Some people, if you didn't know me, they would always say, you give me a New York vibe. I got that in like my earlier years. And as I got older, people would say, you got an LA vibe to you. And I feel like it's more LA just because of my natural demeanor. I'm really laid back, observant, just chill. The pace of life is a little bit more my speed, just more mellow, just kind of go with the flow. It fits my personality. I'm not really a hustle and bustle guy, so I don't know where the New York thing ever came from. But definitely LA, that felt like home, and that's a place that I would like. If it wasn't for the astronomical price of living, I would definitely try to move out to LA. 100%. Dallas was a place like that for me too. Like the first time I went to Dallas, it was like, oh shit, this feels like home. This feels like somewhere I could rock with. So those two places, and I say Nashville. Nashville was definitely one too. My first time going. Now, I need to go back to Nashville. I don't know how much of that was the. I had the benefit of having a, and I was talking to Phil about this. Phil was talking about like, when I went to Nashville, I went to the like, the tourist Nashville, all that stuff. And I had the pleasure of going to Black Nashville, people who are from the city, kind of the ins and outs, and got that guidance. So I don't, if it might have been different if I didn't know Lou or didn't have the opportunity to kick it with Lou, Dro, everyone else. But yeah, Nashville dope. That was a dope time. But I do need to go back, and I plan on doing that. So those are my three. I'll make sure Spike Lou gets this question next week when we record. We got another comment from Golden Child 1123. Another great episode. I enjoyed the topics. I'm very fortunate to have the same group of friends who I consider family for 30 plus years. We've been through it all together, and I wouldn't trade them for the world. I didn't realize it until recently that a lot of people never experience that type of friendship, and I think it speaks on the type of person they are. Not necessarily in a bad way. To have great friends, you have to be a good friend. T, good luck with your podcast. You're a natural, and it will do great. First and foremost, I can understand that. Thank you for that email because I felt the love that you have for your friends just from reading it. As someone who's had the same friends since elementary school and plus another set of friends since college. So we're talking 20 and 30 plus years. I understand what that bond is like. It's deeper than just being acquaintances or being okay, especially the ones who are from elementary. Those are the friends who they can go by mom's spot and I don't have to be there. Like mom's gonna let them in, have conversation, feed them if they need it, the whole nine. Because this is the same kid that you would pick up from practice and take home, or would come over the crib and have dinner or stay the night or whatever the case may be. This is genuine family. Got friends who was at my grandparents' house, growing up. Like just certain things that you can't, your day twos just can't do because they weren't around in day one. So those always just hold a special bond. And then the day twos, of course, because you get to choose them. You get to use your judge of character and decide whether or not you want them to be in your life. And to have people like that, it really is a blessing. And I do agree. You got to be a good friend, I say it all the time. It's a Nas lyric. How you expect to get love if you don't show none? So yeah, absolutely. I definitely rock with that comment, and we thank you. And then we have is it Tavern? I really don't want to mess that up. My apologies if I did. Just typed in love it. So thank you for the comments. Thank you for all the love. We definitely appreciate you. Um, as far as we get into this episode, man, what's on my mind? So it's April, like I said, it's April 21st, and 2 days ago, this past Sunday, was the 6 year anniversary of my dad's passing. And it's always an interesting time of the year for me. And his birthday is in May, so it's kind of back to back. So we had Chaz on, I believe that was last year. We had him on. It was like a grief episode. We kind of talked about grief because Chaz had lost his father as well. And it was an opportunity for both of us just kind of talk through it along with Spike Lee on that episode. I forget which chapter it was. But yeah, man, it's different every year. There's this weird thing that happens when like the first 2 years are brutal, right? If you and hopefully you haven't, but if unfortunately if you know the feeling of losing a parent or losing someone that close, you kind of go through those stages of grief, and those first 2 years are brutal. You kind of go through an initial phase after the initial shock wears off, um, and once the people kind of stop checking in on you as regular because their life goes on as well, that's when you kind of really sit with it and all those emotions come in at once. You're not distracted anymore from, planning services or people reaching out to you all the time just to check in. You have more time to be by yourself and your thoughts, and that's when everything kind of hits. And I remember getting my first, but realizing or acknowledging the fact that I was depressed like 2 months after my dad passed, and really trying to. It got to a point. I remember being at work and I couldn't write my name, like I couldn't type it, like it was just my brain was so like out of it, and that's when I kind of like, yo, this isn't natural. And thankfully, I was able to, talk to a therapist and take some time away from work and kind of really take the time that I needed to feel what I needed to feel, and had a lot of great people around that were there as support. But it is a journey you have to walk through, and you kind of feel like, life will never be the same, and it won't. But you do realize there is a new normal that's past it. But with each year, like I said, after those first 2 years, given how brutal they are, each year, like that feeling that creeps over you, it delays more and more. So like year one, it might have been starting in March, and then year two, it might start in March, but the end of March. And year three, it's like, all right, we're on the last day of March. And year four is all right, we're in early April, where all these feelings that you normally feel as far as like, let's call it seasonal depression, they just keep getting pushed back. And like it gets to the point where you a day before, like this year, it wasn't until the weekend of when I was like, all right, then there it is. There's that feeling. So you never escape it. And I think for some reason I thought that, okay, it'll get to a point where it's healthy. Don't get me wrong. It's a healthy part that I'm at now because I like to acknowledge, my dad's life versus being sad that he's not here. And don't get me wrong. There's a lot of things that I love to talk to my pops about. There's a lot of advice that I would have loved to have gotten. And one of the things is I would have loved to taken time to understand my dad more as a man uh, versus a dad. And that's been my favorite thing, hearing people talk about him, the man he was, and who he was before he was my dad, and all of those things. So if you follow me on Instagram, at krich513, I posted a picture of my dad. My mom sent me this photo maybe a few weeks ago of my dad and her at this place called the Palm Room in Cincinnati in Walnut Hills, and it's not around anymore. But my mom said he would take her dancing. This is when they was dating, um, in their 20s and whatnot. And my mom, my mom said he would take her to ladies' night every Wednesday. They go dancing. You can see it. He was fitted and all of that, man. So he was a stepper, man. You could just tell. And just hearing the stories about like just how he acted, how he treated everyone. How my pops he had this BMW with a stripe on it, and my mom would say like everywhere we went, like somebody was asking about that car, offering if they could buy it, all kind of stuff. Like that car was sharp. Like your dad just kind of like just had this way about him, but it was more so people talking about the man that he was. And there's a story that stands out. My uncle telling me, um, and this is my dad. This is my mom's brother. So this would have been my dad's brother-in-law. There was a time when he was kind of down, and my pops helped him out. My pops helped him out, and he never once told my mom about it. It wasn't until my brother, or excuse me, my uncle told her that she even knew. Like, it wasn't like he came home like, yeah, I saw your brother today, this, that, and the third. Like, when they say the purest form of giving is anonymous, and just wanted to make sure that the next person had and they were okay. And if I got something to spare, I'm going to do it. Um, and just countless and countless stories. Even when I posted them, I have aunts and cousins who was like, "Man, your dad was so dope. Like, he was a cool dude and just a great man and a man of integrity." And I'm always fortunate and blessed that I was raised by him and kind of instilled with those same principles and values. So when I get compliments like that, man, I don't take it lightly, because I know who raised me, man. Not just my pops, my mom as well, and just the whole village, man, the whole tribe, aunts, uncles, cousins, neighbors, all of that. But it starts with your household, and my pops was one of one, and I'm always thankful for him, man. So shout out to OG Rich, man, Big Rich. I'm a junior. I was named after him. My name was supposed to be Christopher, but I came out looking just like him, and they named me Junior on the spot. So, cheers to Pops. It's been 6 years, man, but I'm thankful that I have all the memories, and you live through me every single day, even the name that we share. So, shout out to my Pops. Outside of that, man, it's funny. I've been in I don't want to call it a funk, but sometimes you get to this point in this space of just building something. When I say this space, I don't necessarily mean podcasting, but just building something in general, where you want to rush the journey, or you feel like you should be further along for where you are. And I know this isn't a new concept. We've spoken about this before, but I've really been trying to learn to adjust my mindset. And what I mean by that is, I was looking at numbers, which goes back to a time I remember starting in this, maybe not even starting, maybe a year into taking it seriously. My brother Goody, me and him were having a conversation in his garage, and he was just telling me, he said, "Hey man, like, don't even worry about the numbers, bro. Like, put your head down and just work. Like, you start looking at the numbers, you're gonna let that dictate how seriously you take this. If you feel like you should have X amount of views and you only got this amount of views, that might change your whole mood or your mindset on if you really want to take this seriously." And man, he's like, "Man, that's just all noise. Just put your head down and do the work." And it was one of the best pieces of advice that I got. Um, and I realized that putting your head down and doing the work has gotten us so many places, right? And sometimes you look at things as, why hasn't this happened yet? And I'm shifting my brain to, man, look at all the things that have happened for us and all the blessings that are coming. And I think of, we officially announced it. The Culture Garden was invited to the Light Reel Film Festival. So Light Reel, if you go to Light Reel Film, REEL, it's a film festival held in Washington, D.C. every single year. This is the 7th annual, and this is the first year. It's funny. I got a phone call back in December, and I was at work. I remember like yesterday, and I saw the name, and I was like, "This must be a pocket dial." And it's the founder of the Light Reel Film Festival, and he was like, "Yeah, man. If you know, his name's Tim Gordon, and he's the founder of the Black Reel Awards as well." And if you ever seen him or seen an interview or anything like that, he just uh, we actually did an episode of Culture Guard with him. Him and Cordell, who's a nominating chairperson for Black Reel Awards. One of my favorite episodes or conversations that we had. Either way, he's just kind of like one of those people who gets his thoughts out verbally. Like, he's talking, he might be talking to you, he might be talking to himself. He's just one of those people, if you know what I'm talking about. And he was like, "Hey man, I got this idea for the film festival where each year we try to add something new. And this year I want to do like a live podcast thing." And we're talking, and this is when the nominations for like the Golden Globes and stuff came out. So we're talking about sinners and all types of other stuff. He was like, "Yeah, man. So I really wanted to," because we're in the conversation about 5 minutes at this point. And then he was like, "Yeah, I want the Culture Garden to be the ones to do it. I want them to come out and I want y'all to come out and do the live podcasting. And mind you, this was just an idea. There was no like framework for it, but I was like, I remember the feeling of being blown away. Like I couldn't believe it. Um, because as we discussed, there are moments where if you don't see something like fruitful, it can be really hard to keep grinding. And that was one of those moments. And just getting that phone call out of nowhere, I was like, yo, I was stunned. It was probably the biggest moment I say definitely in my podcasting career because there's so many people that they could have reached out to or could have um chosen to do that, but they were a fan of our work and we had, collaborated with them before. So to think that highly of us to say, yo, come out to our film festival and we want you to, talk to filmmakers and talk to sponsors and talk to people in this industry as you live record from, on location and kind of give an inside look at the film festival. I just thought that was dope. And, like I said, it was an invite, we're going to fly y'all out, all this stuff. So it was, definitely a big milestone. So I look at that and I'm like, how could you dare be ungrateful or feel like you should have more when all these blessings are right in front of you? And that's one of the things that I'm just thankful for, and I want to really shift the mindset and make sure, and hopefully it helps someone else out there. Don't overlook what's already happened because you haven't seen what you think should happen. If that makes any sense. Um, and because it hasn't happened yet doesn't mean good things haven't already transpired. And I think about all the stuff that we've been able to do. I think about being a voting member for the Black Reel Awards. Just stuff that I never imagined. Just, me in school, man, we started Culture Garden on the iPhone 11. We recorded the first episode in school's room with no microphone, literally just one phone laying on a desk or the bed, and we just kind of hashing out thoughts and trying to be perfect and not really knowing what we were doing, but we found a way. So I always say this was never by accident because um, not knowing what you're doing, you could easily be like, man, it was a good idea, but this ain't about to happen. We ain't about to do this all the time. And it was a slow burn. We put out our first episode in the end of 2020, but we didn't really get consistent or take it seriously until 2022, as I mentioned. So it was a slow burn, but we got there. And then once we made that decision to commit fully, all these other doors have opened. Culture Garden turned into We Got Y'all. And We Got Y'all turned into Good Earners, and Good Earners turned into No More Half Measures, and No More Half Measures, it didn't turn into, but all of that stuff led to Another Week in the Books, and Culture Garden led to Best Episode Ever, and all these other things that I've been a part of, Gridiron Jungle, just to get in creative space and kind of really not set a limit for yourself. It's been really dope. It's been really dope. So I'm thankful for the journey that I've been on. I'm thankful for the people I've been able to share this journey with. I'm thankful for the things that they've taught me throughout. I think I've learned something from every single person that I have the opportunity to work on or work with on a consistent basis. Um, I think school taught me to relax. I was very, very, very anal when it came to those early days. Like it was like a perfectionist, like everything had to be perfect. School kind of in his own way, and I don't even know if he knows this. He taught me to just relax, bro. Just it's cool, man. Some things is gonna glitch, some things gonna mess up. It ain't the end of the world, man. Just be yourself. Let us be us, and let's just make it happen. And I learned kind of that lesson from him, and not to take everything so seriously or not to necessarily have an agenda for everything. Let things go off script sometimes. I think of Rachel, and just Rachel is like I just man, Rachel's so talented, bro. Like she's incredible at what she does, and there's some when you're able to be that close to someone doing something that they're just that good at, it's just a different level and a different feeling. I take like ownership and responsibility to make sure that she gets where she needs to get, and help her along that way. And just I just see the vision when it comes to her talent, and I really take that seriously. And I really want to make sure like I'm more motivated that you know we get to the point where everybody can see how talented she is more than myself. Like I don't, that's cool and all that, but like her and somebody like Lou, I always say those are my two favorite podcasters because they are, man. I just really love hearing them discuss anything and their point of view and just kind of the authenticity that comes with it. So I appreciate them. You know, all the lessons I learned from Mo, um, everyone, man, everyone. So I'm blessed with a great crew, a great cast of people. Um, and I'm excited to continue this journey. I was thinking about, I talked about the responsibility. I really want to make sure that I'm holding myself responsible, because a lot of this is the business side of like. So when I started this whole conversation, I was talking about like just kind of being in a funk. Part of it is this is a changing industry always, so you got to keep up to date. And some of the things that you have to do to thrive are things I'm just not interested in. This is nothing new, but a lot of it comes to like social media posting, being more visible. The long form content just is a thing of the past. Like that's just not going to get you anywhere in 2026. It doesn't mean you don't have long form episodes, but we all know social media. We see how it is. You follow your favorite shows, it's all clips. Get you some 60 to 90 second or 30 to 90-second clips. Get you maybe one or two 3 to 5 minute clips, and that's the name of the game. Like people are going to watch or technically be engaged by those clips, and if they like that, then they'll kind of listen to the whole episode. But those people aren't as, I guess, common as they were 5, 6, 7 years ago. You exist, of course, and obviously, if you're listening to this, we appreciate it. I mean, we know you listen to a long form because we don't really put out a lot of clips, but that's one of the things that we have to change. But as you look through all of this and you try to figure out, all right, why isn't this number where it's supposed to be, or why does this number look like it dropped, or what's going on over here? You realize, oh, well, the game has changed and you still playing by the old rules. And when you see that, it's like, damn, man, I just perfected the other one. Like I just really learned how to do it this way. And then you telling us, all right, we starting over. And it's like, damn, man, like how many times do I want to start over? How many times do I want to keep doing this? At some point, it feels like, all right, I got in this space to make content the way I want to make it. If I always got to conform to these rules, then how much longer do I want to like do this? But that's just a brief thought, and you realize, yo, forget the rules, man. You just got to do it. Like the game is already rigged. You got to find a way around it, and that's another part of the obstacle in the journey, and that's the fun for me to try to like figure out this Rubik's cube. But I was saying all that to say, man, I really I take ownership in making sure that um, we get to where we want to be. And I talked about, and I've had private conversations with Lou about this, and I've said it on here before. But the ideas that he has and the things that he wants to get done, I take that seriously, and I want to make sure he gets there because I see it. Um, it's funny how life works, man. Because as I just mentioned, I was kind of in a little funk, and then the algorithm was showing me something about what was I watching? I can't even remember how we got here, but it was something about Dave Chappelle, and I was reminded of a stand-up. I believe it came out in 2023. The Dreamer, um, the Dreamer, and the go watch it on Netflix if you have time. But the whole premise is like the biggest dream wins, right? And he was in DC, and he said something along the lines of, "I dreamed about this night when I was 14 years old, and here I am as an almost 50-year-old man, or as a 50-year-old man, I can't remember. Here I am living that dream." And there was two things that stuck out. Obviously, the biggest dream wins, like just being able to see things. And um, believe me when I tell you, I've seen it already. There was a very specific moment and conversation I had with Spike Lee in Nashville, and I remember just telling him like, I see it, bro. Like I'm not just saying this just to say it. Like I see the vision, I see it happening already. Like I think that's part of the reason why it's easy for me to kind of come. I won't say easy because there are moments where you're just like, man, I don't feel like doing that. But the reason I'm so passionate and strong about this is because I see the end result. Like I see like where this ends up. I don't know when it happens, but I've seen it. And there is no such thing as quitting or stopping, because why would I stop when I know what the end result is? And that might sound crazy to say, or you might be wondering, like, where's that belief come from? I can't really explain it, y'all. Like, I really can't. It's just one of those things that I'm so confident in. Like, it's so matter of fact to me. Like, I can see it as clear as day. Like, there's so many things that I just see happening, and one day they will, and I'm like, yo, that was it. And I think that's what, not think, I know that's what Dave meant when he talked about the biggest dreamer. Like, you have to be so irrationally confident in that dream and see it so clearly that nothing or no one is going to deter you from it or stop it. Like, seriously. So when he talked about that, and then the second thing of that whole thing was, I dreamed it as a 14-year-old boy, and here I am as a 50-year-old man. Just that reminder that this shit takes time, man. Like, I know a lot of things looks like overnight, but it's never really overnight. And anybody you ever thought was an overnight success, like a real sustainable success, not somebody who was here today going tomorrow. I mean, people who have been here for a long time consistently. It was never overnight. We just found we got hip to them late. There might have been some people, like any artist or any, musical act. It's always a joy when you get hip to someone early, right? Somebody found, or somebody can tell a story, I'm sure, about seeing Jay-Z in some random spot in 1994 performing in front of, a club in New York, or whatever the case is, or Jersey or Maryland, right? There was always moments like that. And then you just get to see them blow up into this phenomenon. But it doesn't happen overnight. You got to start somewhere. You got to start this grind. You got to start like this path. And 14 to 50, that's 36 years. A dream that he had took 36 years to come to fruition. And here I am saying, oh, it ain't happened. It ain't happened because it's been 3.5 years, or it ain't happened because I've been doing this so much consistently and blah, 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 bro. Like, shut up. Like, shut up, man. Put your head down. Word to my brother Good. Put your head down and do the work. You know what I'm saying? You can't cheat the grind. Like, if you do the work, I promise you the results is going to show. If you go to the gym, man, I'm saying that because I've been in the gym consistently. I feel good about it. I feel myself getting stronger. I see myself physically changing. And that shit doesn't happen overnight, man. A lot of people quit because they do all the steps, right? They lift all the weights. They go consistently. They wake up early. They eat right. And then they weigh themselves 2 weeks later and maybe nothing's changed, right? No number has validated that their work has meant anything. So they say, man, fuck it. Why am I doing all of this if nothing's going to change anyway? But that's usually the first step. That's that final step you get before you start seeing the real results. And you can really see them in the mirror before you see them on the scale. But a lot of people don't give themselves that time. I look at this the same way. Like, don't cut yourself short because it didn't happen in this amount of time. Actually, you're kind of crazy. That's the 1 point. That's the or excuse me, 0.001% that do it in that time frame, right? Like Joe Rogan's podcast is so big that you can't even put it in the category of other podcasts. Like, that's how many, like, he's light years ahead of other people when it comes to like listeners and things of that nature. But as a 39-year-old man, I remember Joe Rogan when I was a teenager, like doing the Man Show and stuff like that, bro. He's been around forever. He didn't just come out the gate and have the largest or most successful podcast. It doesn't work like that. You just got to keep putting in the work. So that's one thing that has really been on my mind, just being more thankful, like I said, and just remembering that dreamer. Like, seeing that literally right before I started recording was just one of those signs, like, bro, like, nigga, put your shoulders back, man. Stick your chest out and keep grinding, keep moving, man. And like I said, man, I want to make sure everybody gets to where they go. I want to make sure, Mo needs anything, I'm helping him. Of course, school, Rachel, and like I said, Spike Lee, because I know, and we know what, we got to take a personality test one day. I think that would actually be a pretty cool conversation. Spike Lee and myself always talk about being the same person, and trust me, we have very similar life experiences, and we understand things and see things the same way. Out of curiosity, I love to see how close our personalities are on paper, and how we look at things. And it's probably not a surprise, but I would be shocked to see if there was any major difference. But I know, I want to get his thoughts on this when he listens. But I know that people like us, him and myself, our personalities, we have pockets of inspiration, and we gotta maximize those pockets, right? Like I can't really explain this. Maybe Lou can do a better job. But what I mean by that is we're not just gonna do something just to do it. We kind of have to be inspired to do it, right? We kind of have to really be in the zone and say, all right, I'm gonna put my time and commitment in this. And that might be fleeting. There might just be a wave where I'm just super inspired, and that's when it is. And for those other times that I'm not, I need somebody to be there and say, "Yo, bro, like you said you was gonna do this. We need you to, like, I need you to go ahead and like get on your shit, like really get back on it. It can kick back in. We just need a little bit of a kickstart." And like I said, we'll have this conversation, and when we get to talk, but I wonder if he thinks the same or if he agrees with that statement of, you know what, I do recognize that there is a window, and if I'm not in it, I do need somebody to hold me accountable and make sure we're there. And by all intents and purposes, I'm gonna be that person for Lou. So that's one thing I definitely I'm looking forward to continue to work with him on that. And yeah, man, I think that's it, man. I've been kind of rambling. Um, life is good. I know there's a lot of stuff going on in the world. A lot of it's a heavy place, man. It's a heavy place. Control what you can control. Um, I would never want to tell anyone to be misinformed because I don't think that's a proper way of life. But it is okay to, turn the news off, put the phone down, and just kind of really connect with things that are real. Ground yourself, take care of yourself, take care of your mental, your physical, your spiritual. Um, and kind of really make sure you connect with what's real and what's not just like out there or what's being put out there in the whole nine. I hope everybody's doing well, sincerely. I hope life isn't too heavy for you right now. If it is, I hope that you know that you have somebody to talk to. Legitimately, even if it's us, man, even if you DM us, even if you call the number down at the bottom, 470-318-5034. This is a community, this is a family. We don't want any of the bookworms or anybody that the bookworms care about to feel like they're isolated or feel like they're doing this alone, because I promise you not. So I'm gonna wrap things up with that, man. I don't know how this is gonna translate when it releases. I don't know if it's something that it will be accepted. What I mean by that is just if it does anything for anyone. But I guess in light of this conversation, if it's only one person that it impacts in a positive way, then it was worth it. It's not about what you don't have; it's about what you do. So, with that being said, man, value what you have, value the people in your life, value the moments, make the most of them. Um, Shout out to all y'all, man. Shout out to the bookworms. We'll be back next week with another episode. Let's get better this week.